Ever wonder why we're seeing more extreme weather events than ever before? The scorching heat waves, the devastating hurricanes, the unexpected floods? It's more than just a string of bad luck. We're in the midst of a climate change quandary, a complex puzzle that scientists have been piecing together for decades. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It's here, it's real, and it's intensifying. Our planet's average temperature is climbing, glaciers are melting, sea levels are rising. And yes, those extreme weather events we talked about, they're not just random occurrences, they're the Earth's response to our actions, a cry for help in a language we're only just beginning to understand. But why are these changes happening, what's causing them, and most importantly, what can we do about it? We're about to embark on a journey to uncover the truth behind these pressing questions. It's not a coincidence, it's climate change. So, what's the science behind this global phenomenon? Well, it starts with the greenhouse effect, a natural process that warms the Earth's surface. Picture our planet wrapped in a blanket of gases. These gases, primarily carbon dioxide, methane, and water vapor, let sunlight in but prevent some of the outgoing heat from escaping into space. This trapped heat keeps our planet warm enough to support life. That's the greenhouse effect in its simplest form. But what happens when that blanket gets too thick? This is where human activities come into play, significantly altering this natural balance. Humans have been burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas at an unprecedented rate since the Industrial Revolution, releasing vast amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Additionally, deforestation and industrial processes add to the problem by generating more greenhouse gases. When we cut down and burn trees, we lose significant natural sponges that absorb carbon dioxide. At the same time, we release the stored carbon back into the atmosphere. Then there's methane, a gas much less prevalent but far more potent than carbon dioxide as a heat trapper. It's released during the production and transport of coal, oil, and natural gas. It also originates from livestock and other agricultural practices, as well as by the decay of organic waste in municipal solid waste landfills. The net effect of all these activities is an increase in the concentration of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. This beefed-up blanket of gases is trapping more heat, leading to a rise in Earth's average temperature. Climate scientists refer to this enhanced warming as global warming, which is driving the broader changes to our climate system. And what's the fallout of this human-induced alteration? It's not just about warmer winters or hotter summers, we're talking about more severe weather extremes, rising sea levels, and shifting wildlife populations and habitats. The result? Our planet's temperature is on the rise. How do we know all of this? Well, the evidence is clear and the scientific consensus on climate change is strong. Thousands of climate scientists from all over the world have studied the issue extensively and agree. Our planet is warming, and human activities are largely to blame. One of the key pieces of evidence is the steady rise in global temperatures. Since the late 19th century, the Earth's average surface temperature has increased by about 1 degree Celsius. This might not sound like much, but on a global scale it's a significant shift. This warming trend is especially pronounced in the last 35 years, with 18 of the warmest years on record occurring since the year 2000. Next, we look at the shrinking ice caps. Satellite observations reveal that the amount of spring snow cover in the northern hemisphere has decreased over the past 5 decades. Not only that, but the snow is also melting earlier. The Arctic sea ice extent has shrunk in all seasons, most dramatically in summer. In fact, the rate of Antarctica ice mass loss has tripled in the last decade compared to the previous one. And let's not forget about rising sea levels. Global sea level rose about 8 inches in the last century, and the rate in the last 2 decades is nearly double that of the last century. This is due to the added water from melting ice sheets and glaciers, and the expansion of seawater as it warms. These observations are consistent with what we'd expect from an increase in greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere. They align with the predictions made by climate scientists decades ago. They paint a picture not of isolated incidents but of interconnected changes on a global scale. And so, the scientific community is virtually unanimous. Human-induced climate change is real. The facts are undeniable. Our planet is warming up. Why does a warmer planet matter, you might ask? Well, the answer is more multifaceted than you might think. Climate change isn't just about rising temperatures, it's about the ripple effects that these changes can have on every aspect of life on Earth. Let's start with biodiversity. As climate patterns shift, many species are finding themselves in environments they're not equipped to handle. Polar bears, for example, depend on sea ice for hunting. But with the ice melting earlier each year, they're struggling to find enough food. Coral reefs too are suffering from warmer ocean temperatures, leading to widespread bleaching events. These are just two examples among countless others, illustrating how climate change is pushing many species towards extinction. Next, consider ecosystems. Ecosystems are complex, interconnected webs of life, where every piece plays a crucial role. Climate change, however, is throwing these systems off balance. Droughts, for instance, can lead to massive tree deaths, which in turn destabilize forest ecosystems and exacerbate climate change by reducing the planet's capacity to absorb carbon dioxide. And what about us humans? We're not immune to the effects of climate change either. Our societies are deeply intertwined with the natural world, and as it changes, so do our lives. From farmers grappling with unpredictable weather patterns to communities facing water scarcity, the impact is far-reaching. Perhaps one of the most visible impacts of climate change is the risk posed to coastal cities. As sea levels rise, cities like New York, Miami, and Shanghai could face frequent and severe flooding. And let's not forget about extreme weather events. Hurricanes, typhoons, and heat waves are becoming more intense and frequent, threatening lives and infrastructure around the world. In short, a warmer planet matters because it impacts everything from the smallest insect to the largest city. We're all part of this intricate web of life, and as it unravels, so too does the world as we know it. Our actions today will determine the future of our planet, so let's make sure we choose wisely, because the health of our planet, our home, is in our hands. What can you do to combat climate change? This question often floats around, creating a sense of helplessness. But here's the good news. We, as individuals, hold a substantial power to mitigate the effects of climate change. Yes, you heard it right. It's in our hands. Let's talk about a few practical ways we can reduce our carbon footprint. First up, energy consumption. This might seem obvious, but it's often overlooked. It's as simple as turning off lights when you leave a room, unplugging electronics when they're not in use, or even opting for energy-efficient appliances. These small changes can lead to significant energy savings over time. Next, let's talk about diet. Believe it or not, what's on your plate can have a considerable impact on the environment. Livestock farming is one of the largest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions. So, adopting a plant-based diet or simply reducing the amount of meat and dairy you consume can significantly lower your carbon footprint. Plus, it's a healthy choice for you too. Now, let's shift our focus to clean energy solutions. We're not saying you need to install solar panels on your roof tomorrow, although that would be fantastic. But if you have the means, why not? If not, you can still advocate for clean energy solutions in your community. It could be as simple as supporting local businesses that use renewable energy or pushing for policies that encourage the use of clean energy. Remember, combating climate change isn't about making one grand gesture. It's about making small, consistent changes in our daily lives. It's about making conscious choices every day that prioritize our planet. It's about understanding that each one of us is a part of the solution. So let's take a moment to reflect. What small changes can you make today? What choices can you make that will not only benefit you but also our beautiful planet? Every small step you take can make a big difference. Because remember, the power to combat climate change truly is in our hands. Now that you understand the science behind climate change, it's time to act. The urgency to combat this looming crisis cannot be overstated. We've unraveled the complex web of factors contributing to global warming, and the conclusion is clear. We need to take immediate, decisive action. Each one of us has a role to play. Small changes in our daily lives can make a significant impact. Think about how you can reduce, reuse, and recycle. Consider the energy you use, the food you eat, and the way you travel. All these choices matter, but we mustn't stop there. Advocate for change at a higher level. Push for policies that prioritize our planet. Encourage your local and national leaders to take a stand against climate change. The power to shape our future is in our hands. Together we can turn the tide on climate change. Start today. Taking action on climate change isn't a one-time event, it's a journey. It's about making a commitment and sticking to it. So, as we wrap up this video, let's talk about some concrete steps you can take right now. Start by educating yourself. Read up on the latest climate science. Stay informed about new developments. Join or start a local action group. Use your voice to spread awareness in your community and online. Next, consider your lifestyle choices. Can you walk or bike instead of driving? Can you reduce your meat consumption? Can you switch to renewable energy sources? Remember, every little bit helps. And finally, don't underestimate the power of your vote. Elect leaders who prioritize the environment. Support policies that promote renewable energy and reduce emissions. Your vote can help shape the future of our planet. Remember, the journey to combat climate change begins with a single step. What will your first step be? Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative and want to learn more about such important topics, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Together, we can make a difference. Start today.